So now we are going to understand about a class declaration, how the class declaration is going to be there, and these concepts. I mean, if you are already having the Java knowledge, then you will be able to understand all these concepts. I mean, like if you are just learning Java just now, you will not be able to catch out some of the points, but still you try to listen that you will get more knowledge. So this is a class declaration. Whenever the class declaration is there, always will have a class. Always here one rule is there. If you are writing Java certification and all, that time this question is going to come across. So what is that? Is that the point is that if you are writing a class, so always the class is like this, and you never use this class cannot be capital letter. Sometimes when you are writing exam also, they might be giving that other, they might be keeping as the, instead of small c, they might be giving the capital C and all. So that is one thing. And and class declaration always starts with a class, and it is a simple key, a simple keyword like class and class name, and starting braces is there, and ending braces will be there. This is the way it is there. And normally class declaration, what are the things will be there in any class? If you take what are the things will be there, it will be there access modifiers and non-access modifiers and a class and all. Let's see. You are seeing see new words like access modifiers and a non-access modifiers and class name. This you know what is the class and all. So what exactly if you open any of the class, this kind of components will be there. Any class, if you open this kind of components will be there. Public and class name. This is the access modifier. This is the non-access modifier. Class name, and this is the class name extends with the other class, and that class you are implementing it one interface, and there you are implementing the class and all. Let's see. And you may be seeing that why they have this public class, public final and all. You, these and all reserved words, and these and all reserved words. And if you see, so this public and final as options, public and keeping as public, it is optional. Final is also, it is an optional. And a class is a mandatory. If you are writing any class, class keyword is mandatory, class name is mandatory, and this braces and ending is the mandatory. Culling braces is mandatory. That is the reason it has been presented that. Let's see. You may ask me, can you show me one class which is having this kind of structure, this kind of structure? You may ask me. So here I am going to tell you how to decompile a class. There, decompile a Java sale point class, which is already implemented the class. I am going to show one class. In that class, okay, I am going to take one class and I am going to decompile it, then we'll see that. So we have many Java classes, right? We have many Java classes, right? Let me go and decompile it. I wanted to do decompile. What is decompile, sir? You may ask me, what is decompile? Decompile is nothing but sale point. I mean, sale point even we have some online decompilers. We have it. Some online decompilers are there. So using that online decompilers, you can, if you get any class, that class you can decompile it. So what code they have written and all, you can see it. What code they have written and all, you can see it. How do you can see it? Let's say I'm taking one class. So my sale point, sale point is there, and sale point I have a class. Sale point I have a class, and here is a sale point abapps, and identity IQ is there. Identity IQ is there, and let's say identity IQ is there, and I'm just going inside, and here is so identity IQ inside, identity IQ is there. Let me, I'm opening this identity. Actually I have one jar file, sir, lib directory. I have one jar file. Earlier I have shown you this jar file. Identity IQ jar file is the combination of all sale point related classes, and that will be there. So what I did earlier, I just right click and extracted here. Not extra, I have used Java. Java minus xvf and all. I used it, resulted that it has created a folder and all. What is the command? You maybe if you are learning starting time, then that time this is the command I'm going to use it to extract it, to extract the jar file. So I had to use jar minus xvf. Okay, what are the jar identity queue dot jar, like this will be there. I have given this command, this kind of command resulted that okay, it has created this kind of folder here, identity queue, and inside that cell point. Okay, the structure will be there, whatever the API you are seeing na, in the API how it is there and all. So in this class I can see this class identity class. This is the identity class, identity class, and this is and all HBM files. This is and all HBM files. I'm trying to see the class. I'm trying to see the class. I am trying to see the class. I identity class is there, and identity class. This is the class. So let me decompile this. I wanted to decompile it. I have this is the file, and I can go to decompiler. I have a java.decompiler. I'm opening the file, and I'm opening the file, and let me show you that I'm opening the file, and now you can see the code, what exactly identity class they have written. You can see that I have object class, and now I am opening this identity class. Okay, and I am just opening it. So I'm just opening it. See, upload and decompile is there. Upload and decompile is that. Now I wanted you to see how exactly, okay, any class how it is there and all. You can see there, please verify you are not robot. Okay, I mean, like it is and all public sites, right? So they are just verifying it, we are robo or not. You know, right, why you are doing it. So some of the people may be adding robots, and they may trying to crash that application, crash their website and all. So that is the reason they are checking it whether we are robot and all. So I'm decompiling it. I have a Java class. I'm decompiling it. What happened? I'm not a robot. How many times it is asking, and what happened? Just continuously asking. So Java decompiler is there. I'm choosing this file. Upload and choose the file. Identity class is there. Identity class. This is the class, and so I'm just uploading it. After that, so now I think this guy is going to take the file, and we can get the file. Now in that file, you can see that how the structure is there. I was telling you, if any class you have taken, and you will have a access modifier, after that non-access modifier, those things and all, we'll see it. Probably non-access modifier may not be there. We will see that what is there and all. So what are there and all, we'll see that it is saying that is done. And see this is the cell point class. So if you see, this is the public class. Public is there. Public is there. and access modifier. If you don't want to extend some other class, then you are going to use the non-access modifiers. So we have a number of non-access modifiers. We'll be seeing it. And the first one is the access modifier, public, private, the public, private, protected, those things and all access modifiers. And there are the public and final. Okay, there are some variables are there, non-static variables, non-access modifiers are there. We will be discussing about that. Okay, we will be discussing about non-access modifiers. We have set up the non-access modifiers: abstract, static, final, string FPP, native, transient, volatile, and all non-access modifiers and all. We will be understanding when you are learning that concepts. You will be after the class is there, class name is there, and after that, if you wanted to extend anything, you can extend it. See, this class is there. Okay, public class name extends with so and so, and it is extending with abstract certifiable entity. From there, it is extending it, and it is implements with the clonable. It is a clonable is an interface from that we are implementing it and all. That we are implementing and all. So you, if you wanted to say, you can see this class and all. Identity class. This is identity class, and the identity class you can see this all the code, what they have written, how they have been written and all. See this, and if you see public, static, final is there. Final we are going to learn soon. Okay, how, what is the final variable, how it is there and all, you can learn now. So now you have seen this structure of the class and all. So base, okay, structure and of the class is this. So next thing about what are the mandatories and what are the non-mandatories. And if you are declaring anything, complete declaration you are doing it when it is what are the mandatories in the. So keyword class is a mandatory, and the name of the class is mandatory. Suppose I am writing a class, here I am writing a class. So this is not mandatory, sir. I can remove it if it is not mandatory. So I have taken one class, phone class, and earlier I mentioned as a public. Okay, public is, it is a access. So it is another access. Access modifier. It is one of the access modifier, non-access modifiers, and okay, access modifier. Public is the unaccess one. Instead of public, I can also give different differences. The public is there, okay, public, private, protected, default. If you are not giving anything, but it is going to be default and all. So next thing is a non-access space. I wait. Non-access space. We have a number of non-accesses like a final, okay, static, okay, string FPP, like this. We have a number of abstract. We have a abstract. I think static is not non-access measure, and one is abstract. And one second. So we have abstract, final. We can keep a final also. If your class don't want to extend with some other class, then you are going to declare the final. And abstract is also there. Okay, different situations. Each keyword is going to play different roles. Okay, if you don't want to have any implemented, then you are going to keep the abstract. I have a implementation in this method. That is the reason it is crying it. Okay, and abstract. AB abstract. Okay, abstract. Okay, and earlier, okay, okay, earlier and all in the older version interface and all. If you are defining interface, should not any implementation and all. I'll be covering that later. Right now, so I'm just keeping as a, this is the access modifier and this is the non-access modifier. So we are seeing what are the non-access modifiers available and all. Right now you are trying to see that what are the different access modifiers we have available in this Java. You are seeing it. So static also is one of the action non-modifier, and we have native also. And if you are writing the C program and all, that time you are going to use C program calls. If you are calling in that method, then you are going to use, okay, then you are going to use the this native access modifiers and all. Okay, and so this is the things, and then node access modifier and string FP transient also there. transient. Okay, there are any how many? Four. There are eight access modifiers are there. Transient also one of the modifier. Transient modifier. This is also one of the access modifier, non-access modifier. So volatile. This is also one of the modifier. This is another modifier. So like this, we have a number of modifiers. We have a number of modifiers, non-access modifiers. So now let's go and so what are the components we have? If you see, one is okay, in the class declaration, if you are seeing the three things, right? One is access modifiers and non-access modifiers. After the class name is there. This is the parts we have it, and you have learned about. You have also learned about, and what are the mandatory and non-mandatory attributes. So class is a mandatory. If you are developing a class, the class is a mandatory. See this, if I class keyword is mandatory. See this, without that it is not going to be. I should have the class keyword, and I should have the class keyword and class name also mandatory. Without giving class, you can't save it. So, sir, where I am going to use it when you are done? Okay, these things and all, if you are writing OCA exam, that time this kind of question they are going to ask you. And brackets, this bracket and ending braces is a mandatory. So without that, you can do non-access access modifiers is an optional. If you want, sometimes if you want to remove, you can remove it. Okay, and that is one thing. Non-access modifier is and this is the here you can, if you want, you can keep the some other non-access modifiers also. Okay, and if I don't want, I can remove it. What is the use of final and all? We'll be learning later. Definitely we'll be learning later. And if you wanted to extend with other keywords, if you wanted to extend is any other class, then you are going to give it extends. If you wanted to extend with other class under, you can keep it as a extend. So now I am not extending with the things, that is the reason. But by default phone is there. Phone is if you use the extends or not, by default it's going to be extend with the object, but you to see that. So that is the reason you to understand that extends keys introduction of the extends. I had added the extends and the object name I mentioned. Object as it is. Say by default sale point is extended with object class only. Yeah, any class if you take, that is going to extend with object class. So this is the things and the keywords yeah, I have used extends and I can also use implements. That is also optional. That is also optional. That is also optional. I can implement runnable is the runnable. If you are implementing a runnable, that is also optional. So some cases you can use, some cases you can ignore it and all. So now these are the options and all. So So now we are going to learn about, you have learned about what are the important parameters in the object class and all. So we'll catch you later.